Om Ajnanatirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namah Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yutapadakabalam Shri Guru Vaishnavamsha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahara Raghunatham Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahara Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitam Sram Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. So in chapter number 1, we saw Dhritarashtra is asking that my sons and the sons of Pandu have assembled in the battlefield. What did they do? And it starts where then Sanjaya answers that your son Duryodhana is going to Dronacharya to discuss about the whole war. And then Dronacharya, when Duryodhana goes to Dronacharya, he indirectly chastises Dronacharya of giving the military training to Dhritarashtra, the son of Drupad, and tells that do not be lenient to the Pandavas. And then he tells that who are the main fighters among the opposite party. And then he tells that who are the main fighters in his party. And then after hearing all this, then we see that Bhishma Pitama blows his conch shell. And then Krishna enters. We see how Krishna is driving the chariot of Arjuna and they all blow their respective conch shells. And after Pandavas blow their conch shells, the heart of the Kauravas are shattered. This didn't happen when Kauravas blew their conch shell. And then Arjuna has a desire to see the army of Duryodhana, that who has come to fight. And Krishna takes the chariot and then sees the whole army. And seeing all the different grades of relatives, Arjuna is bewildered. And then he says, I don't want to fight. And then Acharyas mention there are 5 reasons which Arjuna gives why he doesn't want to fight. And Krishna then very easily defeats all the arguments. So we see the first argument given by Arjuna is that compassion for friends and relatives, which is there in verse number 20 to 30. He tells that because of compassion for all the people dying on the battlefield, I will not be able to fight. And then he says that even if I fight and I win the battle, whom will I show all this to? And therefore, there will be no enjoyment even if I am victorious. So this is there in verse number 31 to 35. And then he says that after killing all this and we win, there are maybe sinful reactions, and he's fearing that he may have to then bear the results of sinful reactions, which is there in verse number 36 to 38. And the fourth one, which we discussed last time at detail, he's saying that discussion of family traditions, that if the elders are being killed, then the younger generation may not follow all the rules and regulations of the Shastras. They may not offer Pindadan and Shraddha ceremony, and all the community projects may stop. So we'll be responsible for so much social work which could have been done would be stopped. And the last reason which will be given by Arjuna in verse number 6, that will be undecided. And then from verse number 7, he will tell that now you become my guru and now we are not friends, I am surrendered to you. And then the philosophy will start where Krishna will start speaking about the different concepts of Bhagavad Gita. So let's start from second chapter, verse number 1. So the name of the chapter is Contents of Gita Summarized in English. That means it's a summary of the whole Bhagavad Gita. And then Krishna will describe all the concepts which are there in this chapter in detail in the different chapters, which we are going to see. So let us recite verse number 1. Sanjaya uvacha tam tata kripaya ashru purna kulekshanam vishitantam idam vakyam uvacha madhusudanam. Synonyms. Sanjaya uvacha, Sanjaya said, tam unto Krishna, tatha, thus, kripaya, by compassion, avisham, overwhelmed, ashru purna akula, full of tears, ikshanam, eyes, vishitantam, lamenting, idam, this, vakyam, words, vacha, said, madhusudana, killer of Madhu. Translation by Divine Grace Bhaktivinoda Prabhupada. Sanjay said, seeing Arjuna full of compassion, his mind depressed, his eyes full of tears, Madhusudana, Krishna, spoke the following words. So, here we can see how, because of the compassion of Arjuna, his mind is depressed and he has tears in eyes. And Prabhupada will now explain where should the compassion be applied. If compassion is applied wrongly, then we will be depressed also. But if compassion is rightly applied, then we'll be happy and others will also benefit. So purport. Material compassion, lamentation and tears are all signs of ignorance of the real self. Compassion for the eternal soul is self-realization. So whatever compassion we give materially, lamentation we have, and tears, they all are in ignorance. Because on the body level, when we apply compassion, it doesn't last long. And second, it doesn't help the real soul. And therefore, compassion should be applied for the eternal soul, and that is called as self-realization. The word Madhusudana is significant in this verse. Lord Krishna killed the demon Madhu, and now Arjuna wanted Krishna to kill the demon of misunderstanding that had overtaken him in the discharge of his duty. So here, if we see in this verse, Vacha Madhusudana. So this word Madhusudana is being used, that is the killer of Madhu. So Madhu was a demon whom Krishna killed. So here Arjuna also wants him, Krishna, to kill the demon of misunderstanding. And this, because of this misunderstanding, he is not able to discharge his duty. So in our life also, there may be many times where we will not be able to understand things in the right context. And therefore, we need guidance from scriptures, from mentors who can guide us how to properly discharge our duty. No one knows where compassion should be applied. Compassion for the dress of a drowning man is senseless. So most of people in this world do not know where the compassion should apply. Like in one of the government, the young generation was doing theory because they wanted to consume some drugs. And government said that why they need to do theory and why they need to go to jail and do all the things. Let us give them something in charity so that they can purchase drugs and take drugs. So this is a compassion from the government side and they are giving charity, but it is applied wrongly because the drugs which the young generation will use, eventually it will harm them only. And therefore, it's very necessary to see where the compassion we use. And compassion for the outward dress of our drowning man is senseless. Suppose somebody is drowning and somebody goes to save that person. Instead of saving the person, he saves the dress of the person and the person is drowning. Then it's senseless. Like this body is a dress for the spirit soul. And therefore, we need to save the spirit soul. That is the real compassion. Similarly, a man falling in the ocean of nescience cannot be saved simply by rescuing his outward dress, his material body. So one cannot be saved simply by saving his outward. That doesn't mean that we did not save the outward, it is needed. But the real compassion is when we save the eternal soul. One who does not know this and laments for the outward dress is called a Shudra, or one who laments unnecessarily. So actually, Shudra is not a derivative word. It is one who has physical power, and he's more uh, his inclination is more with bodily identification. So he identifies himself more with the body, and this is not good for our spiritual advancement. And therefore, it is said that he's like a Shudra who laments unnecessarily. So the Shudra is person who laments unnecessarily. Means he laments for things which are not needed. In this world, if we lament for something which is not needed, it doesn't help, because a lamentation will not bring the things back, but it will be losing our time. We'll losing our time unnecessarily lamenting, and therefore it's not good. Arjuna was a Kshatriya, and his conduct was not, and this conduct was not expected from him. So, according to the position of a person, there are certain conduct which is to be seen, and therefore, as a leaders in this society, everyone is expected to do his duty, and if such kind of conduct is shown, it is not accepted. Lord Krishna, however, can disable the lamentation of the ignorant man, and for this purpose, Bhagavad Gita was sung by him. This chapter instructs us in self-realization by analytical study of material body and the spirit soul, as explained by the supreme authority, Lord Sri Krishna. This realization is possible when one works without attachment to fruitive results and is situated in the fixed conception of real self. So in this chapter, we will see how Krishna is instructing Arjuna, and through the medium of Arjuna to all of us, in the science of self-realization. And he analytically does the study of material body and spirit soul. And in different ways, he explains us how we are not this body but spirit soul. And if we can just understand this and apply in our life, and we can be on the platform of spirit soul, we will make great spiritual advancement. And therefore, this is very pivotal in our understanding of spiritual culture, in our understanding of Bhagavad Gita, that we understand this one fact that we are not this body but spirit soul. And that is the basis of all our advancement in spiritual life. Till the time we cannot come on this platform, it will be very difficult for us to grow in our spiritual life, and therefore this lesson is very much necessary. So let's see verse number 2. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Kutasva Kashmalamidam Vishame Samupastitam Anaryajushtam Asvargyam Akiti Karam Arjuna. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha, the Supreme Personality of Godhead said, Kuta, wherefrom, Tva, unto you, Kashmalam, dirtiness, Idam, this lamentation, Vishame, in this hour of crisis, Samupasitam, arrived, Anarya, persons who do not know the value of life, Jushtam, practiced by Asvargyam, which does not lead to higher planets, Akirti, infamy, Karam, the cause of Arjuna, O Arjuna. Translation by Divine Grace C. Bhaktivinoda Prabhupada. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, My dear Arjuna, how have these impurities come upon you? They are not at all befitting a man who knows the value of life. They lead not to higher planets but to infamy. So now Krishna is chastising Arjuna that how this wrong conception has come to you, and they are not befitting a man who knows the value of life, because Arjuna knows the value of human form of life, and therefore he doesn't want to fight unnecessarily, and he's presenting all these arguments. But Krishna is chastising Arjuna that do not become like this, because this will not lead to higher planets, but it will lead to infamy and your name will be spoiled. And Krishna, as a friend of Arjuna, does not want Arjuna to misuse his friendship, and he does not want that his name, the name of Arjuna as a devotee, become infamous. Purport: Krishna and the Supreme Personality of Godhead are identical. So, Supreme Personality of Godhead and Krishna means one and the same. Therefore, Lord Krishna is referred as Bhagavan throughout the Gita. And therefore, we see the start, it's written Sri Bhagavan Uvacha. It's not written Sri Krishna Uvacha. But Prabhupada is writing that Krishna is said, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So, this is the pivotal thing we should understand, that Krishna and Supreme Personality of Godhead are one. And therefore, Lord Krishna is referred as Bhagavan throughout the Gita. And Bhagavan is the ultimate in the absolute truth. So if we see the truth, there are different levels of truth, but the absolute truth is Krishna, and this we should understand. Like in our level of this mortal reality, there are some truths that somebody is a father, mother, and there are so many different types of truth we every day see. But the ultimate truth we should understand is that Krishna is the absolute truth, and he's the supreme personality of Godhead. This we should understand. Bhagavan is ultimate in the absolute truth, and absolute truth is realized in three phases of understanding, namely Brahman, or the impersonal, all-pervasive spirit, Paramatma, or the localized aspect of the supreme within the heart of all living entities, and Bhagavan, or the supreme personality of Godhead, Lord Krishna. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, this conception of the absolute truth is explained thus. Vadanti tat tattvavidas tattvam yatyanam advayam brahmeti paramatmeti bhagavaniti shabhyate. The absolute truth is realized in the three phases of understanding by the knower of the absolute truth, and all of them are identical. Such phases of the absolute truth are expressed as Brahman, Paramatma, and Bhagavan. So, just let us understand. So, Krishna is one, and he's the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But he's been understood by different people in different levels. So, some understand him as the light, or impersonal Brahman, or Brahma Jyoti. Some understand Krishna as Paramatma, and some understand Krishna as Supreme Personality of Godhead. So these are all are one and same, but there are different levels of understanding. Like I will give you some examples. Like somebody is studying maths. So for junior KG, senior KG, or lower standards, maths means 1 plus 1 is equal to 2, then 2 plus 2 is equal to 4. This is simple maths which is there for them, and this they can understand. But as they grow higher, there is trigonometry, there is calculus, and so many aspects added. So that is also maths. This is also maths. But it is higher understanding of maths, and for higher understanding the different levels, the different understanding is big one. Like this, here also, Krishna can be explained in three levels. And there are different examples which Acharya gives. So one famous example is given of sun. So we'll understand this according to the example of sun. And Bhagavatam is known for this. Bhagavatam has given this concept. Otherwise, most of the books only talk about the impersonal Brahman, and they will say the impersonal Brahman is the great, is best of all, and there is nothing higher to it. Some books say that only Paramatma is the best, there is nothing higher to it. And some say that Krishna is the highest, there is nothing to it. Bhagavatam combines all three and gives us a understanding of all these levels. And here, the example of sun is given. These three divine aspects can be explained by the example of the sun, which also has three different aspects, namely the sunshine, the sun surface, and the sun planet itself. One who studies the sunshine only is a preliminary student. One who understands the sun surface is further advanced, and one who can enter into sun planet is the highest. Ordinary students who are satisfied by simply understanding the sunshine, its universal pervasiveness, and the glaring effulgence of its impersonal nature, may be compared to those who can realize only the Brahman, feature of the absolute truth. So here, if we see the example of sun is given, so we can see the sunshine which comes to us. So that is compared to the light, the Brahma Jyoti, which is there from sun. And then there is surface of sun, which we go there and we can see. And then there is a sun planet. And if you go into some planet, there are different mansions, there are different people living there, there are trees, and there are so many things which are there alive, which we cannot see from here. And therefore, these different levels are mentioned. And therefore, there are different levels of understanding. The one who understands Lord as only sunshine like this is a preliminary student. He doesn't know the whole thing. And the one who knows the sun globe is further advanced, but one who can enter the sun planet is the highest. And that understanding is given in Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam. And therefore, it is very unnecessary that what books are we referring. If we refer to a book which doesn't give us a full understanding of these things, then our understanding of the things will remain underdeveloped and will not know the full truth, and therefore we should read Srimad Bhagavatam also. The student who has advanced still further knows the sun disk, which is compared to knowledge of Paramatma, which is absolute truth. And the student who can enter into the heart of the sun planet is compared to those who realize the personal features of supreme absolute truth. Therefore, the bhaktas or the transcendentalists who has realized the Bhagwan feature of the absolute truth are the topmost transcendentalists, although all students who are engaged in the study of the absolute truth are engaged in the same subject matter. So one who knows Krishna as Supreme Personality of Godhead, as Bhagwan, knows the Lord in the fullest sense, and therefore he is in the highest understanding. That doesn't mean that others who are engaged in the study of absolute truth are not doing justice or not doing the good thing. They are also engaged in knowing the truth, and that is very good. And therefore, that should be also encouraged. The sunshine, the sun disk, and the inner affairs of the sun planet cannot be separated from one another, and yet the students of three different phases are not in the same category. So we should understand these three things, that sunshine, the sun globe, and the planet cannot be separated. It is one and same. If there is no sun planet, there will be no upper surface, or there will be no sunshine. And without the sunshine, there is no meaning of sun planet, because without the energy, there is no meaning of the person who has the energy. So therefore, both are combined. And therefore, here also we understand that we should know all the three things, and therefore it cannot be separated. So Krishna cannot be separated from Paramatma, and the effulgence cannot be separated from Krishna, which is coming from the body of Krishna. So now the word Bhagwan will be explained by Parasar Muni. So he is an authority and the father of Vyasadeva, and is very good understanding we should know, because so many people in this world claim to be God. So what is the understanding of God? Let us see. The Sanskrit word Bhagwan is explained by the great authority Parashara Muni, the father of Vyasadeva, the supreme personality who possesses all riches, all strength, all fame, all beauty, all knowledge, and all realization, is called Bhagwan. So one who has these 6 qualities in full, one should be very rich. Like we have so many people in this world who are rich, some Indian, some out of world, but they do not possess all riches of the all world. They may be number 1, number 2, but still they don't have possess riches of all the people in the world. Then strength, not only riches, he should have the strength. So some people may have strength, but they may not be rich. Then fame, he's all famous. Like we know, Krishna is so much famous till now that we are reading his Bhagavad Gita, and he'll be famous all through the world. Some people become famous for some time, but after some time, the fame is reduced, and after that, they again go back. But Krishna is always famous, and all beauty. If you see, Krishna is so beautiful that the age of 125 also, when he had children and grandchildren, still he was looking like he's the age of 16. So therefore, he's all beautiful and all knowledgeable. So if we see Krishna, he has all the knowledge, and therefore he has given this Bhagavad Gita, which we are trying to understand, and so many people are trying to understand, but it's very difficult for them to understand. And all renunciation. So after having all these things, riches, strength, fame, beauty, knowledge, he's also renunciated. So he can give up riches, fame at any point of time. And therefore he's called Bhagwan. So if one person has all these qualities in full, then only he can be called as Bhagwan. Like there are some Miss Universe, they are beautiful, but they may not contain wealth. And there's some person who have strength, but they are not famous or they are not knowledgeable. There's some person who have knowledge, but they don't have other qualities. So one is this, all these qualities in full should be called as Bhagwan. And therefore, when we see the different personalities in this world, call themselves as Bhagwan, we should not accept them. See, they may be empowered by the Lord, but they are not Lord themselves. And this we should understand. There are many persons who are rich, very powerful, very beautiful, very famous, and very learned, and very much detached, but no one can claim that he possesses all riches, all strength, etc. entirely. Only Krishna can claim this because he is the supreme personality of Godhead. No living entity, including Brahma, Lord Shiva, or Narayana, can possess opulences as fully as Krishna. So nobody, no Brahma, not Shiva. But why a Narayan is given? Because he's also Vishnu Tattva. So according to Brahma Madhva Gaudya understanding, Narayana comes from Krishna. So he's an expansion of Krishna, and therefore all the Vishnu Tattvas like Lord Ram, Vishnu, all comes from Krishna, and therefore Krishna has all the potencies, and they also have the max, but a bit less, there's very minute difference. There's not much difference in both of them, but there's still some difference, and therefore they don't contain to the whole body. And this should not be misunderstood because this is the conclusion of Bhagavatam, and for us, Bhagavad is the highest Purana. For other people who may be reading Shiv Puran, for them, Shivji is the highest and they should read their Puran. Everybody, this one point I will need to clarify here. See, everyone in this world has his own adhikar. And according to his adhikar, he can read the books. And the conclusions given in the book are for that person only. It's not for others. So, therefore, if we see in this world, a medical student will not study engineering books because his adhikar or his right is to study medical books because he has taken admission in medical books, and therefore for him medical books are the highest and he will read it nicely. For him that is the best, but it is not best for the engineering students. Like this, there are different devotees of Lord Narayana, Lord Vishnu, Lord Narsingh Bhagwan, Lord Nam, and for them, that books which contain the glories of that incarnation is the highest book, and they should refer to that book only. But for devotees of Lord Krishna, Srimad Bhagavatam is the Purana, and therefore we should read that book. We should not go read other books because this is a book which will develop faith in Lord Krishna for us, and therefore there should be no controversy. There should be no difficulty understanding this simple concept that one reads that book for which one has adhikar and let other read that books which they have adhikar. In this way, it can be resolved for all people, and therefore there should be not be misunderstanding. And honestly, there is no need for argumentation. If somebody wants to become a bhakta of Lord Ram, he may read Ramayana and become a bhakta. There is no need that everyone should become only Krishna conscious or bhakta of Krishna only. All these incarnations are bona fide, and therefore, whatever one is very much attracted to, he must worship that Lord. But if one wants liberation from the birth and death of cycle, he should worship Krishna or any of the Vishnu Tattvas because they will give us liberation. That is the conclusion, and we should understand. So, I think it will be clarified here. Therefore, it is concluded in Brahma Samhita by Lord Brahma himself that Lord Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead. No one is equal or to or above him. He is the primeval Lord or Bhagavan, known as Govinda, and he is the supreme cause of all causes. So, Brahma Samhita is one book which is written by Lord Brahma. So, the whole book is not available as of now, but only one chapter is available. In that chapter, Brahma clarifies us what is the position of different demigods which we speak, and even of Lord Krishna. So in that it's written that no one is equal or above him, and he is the premier Lord, or he is the cause of all causes. So this is the first verse. Ishvara Parama Krishna Satchitananda Vigraha Anadiradir Govinda Sarva Karana Karanam. There are many personalities possessing the qualities of Bhagavan, but Krishna is the supreme because none can excel him. He is a supreme person and his body is eternal, full of knowledge and bliss. He is the primary Lord, Govinda, and the cause of all causes. So we can see that there are many personalities who possess the qualities of Bhagavan, but nobody can excel Krishna, and therefore he is the cause of all causes. So just a side point, even in the incarnation, if we see now, only Krishna has the childhood pastimes. No other incarnation of Lord has that childhood pastimes. Just Krishna plays the flute. No other incarnation plays the flute. And therefore, we can conclude that he has more than to give than other incarnation also. But again, we have a disclaimer that doesn't mean that other incarnations are inferior in any way or other bhaktas are inferior. They are also as glorious as the devotees of Lord Krishna, and they should never be disrespected. We should offer all our respects to all of the devotees of Vishnu in any incarnation it may be. And this way, we should maintain friendship with all of them. And at the same time, we worship Krishna. In the Bhagavatam also, there is a list of many incarnations of Supreme Personality of Godhead, but Krishna is described as the original personality of Godhead, from whom many incarnations of personality of Godhead expand. Ete chamsa kala pumsa Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam Indriyani Vyakulam Lokam Vedayanti Yuge Yuge. All the list of the incarnation of Godhead submitted herewith are either plenary expansions or parts of the plenary expansion of Supreme Godhead, but Krishna is a supreme personality of Godhead himself. So in Canto 1, Chapter 3, the list of all the incarnations of Lord is given. All means the main incarnations are given. And the last, this verse comes that all other incarnations which are there are either expansions or parts of the plenary expansion of Supreme Personality of Godhead. But Krishna is not avatar but avatari. That means from him all the other avatars has come. So this is the proof from Srimad Bhagavatam which we accept. Therefore, Krishna is the original Supreme Personality of Godhead, the absolute truth, the source of both the super soul and the impersonal Brahman. And therefore, the super soul and the impersonal Brahman also comes from Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. We should understand this. In the presence of Supreme Personality of Godhead, Arjuna's lamentation for his kinsman is certainly unbecoming, and therefore Krishna expressed his surprise with the words, Kutaha, where from? Such impurities were never expected from a person belonging to the civilized class of man known as Aryan. So, if we see Krishna is present, who knows the dharma, there is no dharma which is above Krishna. And Krishna is expecting that Arjuna will fight. And therefore, Arjuna's lamentation was not right. And therefore, Krishna is surprised and is expressing the word Kuta, from where from this has come to you. And this is never expected from Arjuna, who knows the philosophy of Krishna consciousness. So, all the people who were killed in the battlefield of Kurukshetra are liberated because Arjuna, the devotee, killed them and they all saw Krishna at the time of their death. So, what better vegetation could they have got than this? And even if, suppose we understand they are not gone and got not liberation, still, because it's a dharma, it's based on dharma, the least we can expect is Swarga. That is, they've gone to heavenly planets. And going to Swarga itself is very difficult because it requires lifetimes and lifetimes of austerity, penances, and sacrifice to go to Swargaloka. It's not so easy to go even to Swargaloka. So, in a way, if we see, there was no loss to all the soldiers in the battlefield of Kurukshetra. If uh, they win the war, then they will rule over the kingdom. And if they lose, then either they go to Swarga, and as we know as Bhaktas, that they're all gone back to God. So there is no problem. And therefore, uh, Krishna is here saying that how come this impurities have come to him. The word Aryan is applicable to person who knows the value of life and have a civilization based on spiritual realization. So Aryan means the person who knows what is the value of life, and his civilization is based on spiritual realization and not on material foundation. Person who are led by the material conception of life do not know that the aim of life is realization of the absolute truth, Vishnu or Bhagwan, and they are captivated by the external features of the material world, and therefore they do not know what liberation is. So, one who leads his life only based on material conception or that material world is all in all, so they do not know that the aim of life is realization of absolute truth. That is, they want to realize that Krishna or Vishnu is the highest, and they are servants of that. And our life is to go back to Godhead. So this relation they don't have, and because they don't have this relation, material energy is also energy of Krishna, and therefore it also possesses some of the qualities of Lord Krishna, and therefore when we are not attracted to Krishna, we will be attracted by this material world. And therefore, because of the captivation by the external features of material world, we will not be able to know what liberation is, and therefore will not be able to get out of this material world. So therefore, this is a very dangerous proposition. Persons who have knowledge of liberation from material bondage are called non-Aryans. So persons who have no knowledge of liberation from material knowledge, bondage, so they are called non-Aryans because they have no knowledge, and they will have to again go in the cycle of birth and death. Although Arjuna was a Kshatriya, he was deviating from his prescribed duties by declining to fight. This act of cowardice is described as befitting the non-Aryans. Such deviation from duty does not help one in the progress of spiritual life, nor does it even give one the opportunity to become famous in this world. Lord Krishna did not approve of the so-called compassion of Arjuna for his kinsman. So Arjuna was a Kshatriya, still he was not able to do his prescribed duty and was declined to fight. So whatever our duties are in our life, we should never be hesitant to follow that duty in spite of difficulties. See, some things we may like, but it may not be our duty, and something we don't like, but it may be our duty. So whatever we don't like or what is difficult, but it's our duty, we should perform that, because in the long run, that will help us, but not the ones which is easy to do. And therefore, here also, if we see, it is easy for Arjuna to say, I will not fight, but very difficult to fight. And therefore, Krishna is saying this act of cowardice. And this is not fitting to you, Arjuna. And such division does not help one in process of spiritual life also. So one is in material life, one will gain infamy, but at the same time also will not progress in spiritual life also. And the second is, therefore, Krishna is not approving this kind of compassion of Arjuna for his kinsman. So such compassion is never approved by Krishna. We should understand this. Let's see verse number 3. Klebyam asmakamapatha naitatvayupapadyate shudaram nidaya dorbalyam tyakto tishta parantapa. synonymous, Clabian, importance, Masma, do not, Gama, take to, Partha, O son of Pritha, na, never, Etat, this, Toi, unto you, Upapadyate, is befitting, Shudram, pity, Hridaya of the heart, Dorbalyam, weakness, Tyakta, giving up, Uttishta, get up, Param Tapa, O Chasha of enemies. O son of Pritha, do not yield to this degrading importance. It does not become you. Give up such pretty weakness of heart and arise, O chastiser of the enemy. So Krishna is indirectly chastising Arjuna by saying him impotent. And he's saying that this impotence, do not yield to it, and you are not like this. So give up this petty weakness of heart and arise. So purport, Arjuna was addressed as son of Pritha, who happened to be the sister of Krishna's father Vasudeva. Therefore, Arjuna has a blood relation with Krishna. If a son of a Kshatriya declines to fight, he is a Kshatriya in the name only. And if a son of Brahmana acts impiously, he is a Brahmana in the name only. Such Kshatriyas and Brahmanas are unworthy sons of their fathers. Therefore, Krishna did not want Arjuna to become an unworthy son of a Kshatriya. So here, if we see, Arjuna was the son of Pritha, who was sister of Vasudeva, we say Fufa in our words, or auntie in English. So Krishna had a birth relation with Arjuna, and whoever doesn't do his duty is in the name only. So Kshatriya's main role is to protect the dharma, to protect the citizens. And if they do not follow their dharma, then they are in the name. And similarly, Brahmana, if doesn't act piously, then he is also in the name only. And therefore, they are called unworthy sons of their fathers. And therefore, their call is important here. Krishna did not want Arjuna to become unworthy son of Kshatriya. Arjuna was the most intimate friend of Krishna, and Krishna was directly guiding him on the chariot. But in spite of all these credits, if Arjuna abandoned the battle, he would be committing an infamous act. So, if you see here, Krishna did not want that Arjuna to become unworthy son of Kshatriya. And also because of his friendship with Arjuna, Krishna was directly guiding him on the chariot. And in spite of all these things, if Arjuna abandoned the battle, he would be committing the infamous act. So in our life also, if we see, Krishna is always directing us in one way or the other. So we should never ever think in our life that nobody is looking after us, or we are alone in our spiritual journey, or we are doing so much but nobody is appreciating us. Like this, we should always be aware that Krishna is always with us and is always guiding the right things. The problem is we don't understand how Krishna is telling all this thing to us. And therefore, because we are not in awareness of the presence of Krishna, most of the times we have doubts in our mind. And therefore, if we see here, we should understand that Krishna is always there with us, and therefore we should never ever be fearful or morose in our life, because Krishna will definitely find a solution for us. We should just pray to Krishna, Krishna, please help me, and he is always ready to help us. Therefore, Krishna said that such an attitude in Arjuna did not fit his personality. Such an attitude was not good, which Arjuna did not like. Arjuna might argue that he would give up the battle on the grounds of the magnanimous attitude for the most respectable Bhishma and his relatives. But Krishna considered such type of magnanimity were weakness of heart. Such false magnanimity was not approved by the authority. Therefore, such magnanimity or so-called non-violence should be given up by persons like Arjuna under the direct guidance of Krishna. So Arjuna is telling that I am giving up for this fight not because I'm fearful, but because of my magnanimous attitude. But such attitude is condemned by Krishna and therefore it's not good. Because that is not befitting Arjuna. So now Arjuna will speak. Arjuna vacha katham bhishmamaham sankhye dronam cha madhusudana ishubhi pratiyotsyami pujarau harimasudana. Arjuna vacha, Arjuna said, katham how Bhishma aham I sankhye in the fight dronam drona cha also madhusudana O killer of Madhu ishubhi with arrows Pratiyotsyami shall counteract Puja Arho, those who are worshipable, Arisudana, O killer of the enemies. Translation. Arjuna said, O killer of enemies, O killer of Madhu, how can I counteract with arrows in battle men like Bhishma and Drona who are worthy of my respect? So here again indirectly Arjuna is saying to Krishna that, O killer of Madhu, you have already killed Madhu. Why don't you kill all the people? Why you want me to kill all these people? And therefore, I cannot do this because these are people who are worthy of my worship. So again, see, to kill a person who is outsider, to have fight with outsider is very easy. But when there's a problem with insiders, a family member of us, and we are fighting with them, it's very difficult. Actually, it's very difficult. And here Arjuna is placed in such a situation where he needs to fight with the grandfather Bhishma Pitama and Dronacharya, who have taught them everything. It's not such an easy situation. And if we see Bhishma Pitama is a Mahajan, so it is a very difficult situation. But somehow circumstances have been arise in a way where Arjuna needs to do needful, and Krishna is inspiring him. Purport: respectable superiors like Bhishma and the grandfather and Dronacharya, the teacher, are always worshipable. Even if they attack, they should not be counter-attacked. It is a general etiquette that superiors are not to be offered even a verbal fight. So generally, all the superiors are respected, and if sometimes they are wrong, we do not correct them or we do not counteract them because it's an etiquette. And we need to follow this etiquette if we want to grow further in our own spiritual life. Even if they are sometimes harsh in behavior, one should not be harshly treated. They should not be harshly treated. So sometimes we see because of age factor, because of so many conditioning, sometimes we see that some seniors in some of the release, they're not always harsh, but in some of the release they become harsh. And therefore, we should not treat them harshly. We should understand this one thing, that all these people in this material world are working according to three modes of nature. This one thing you should understand. And second, if they are working according to Krishna's direction, still they are instruments in the hand of Krishna. So they are not responsible. We are getting our own reaction for the karma which we have done, but they are acting as instruments. So therefore, we should never ever blame the instruments of our own karma. And therefore, if somebody is speaking harsh to us, they should not be harshly treated. Then how is possible for Arjuna to counteract them? So Arjuna cannot counteract them. Would Krishna ever attack his grown grandfather Ugrasen or his teacher Sandipni Muni? These were some of the arguments offered by Arjuna to Krishna. So indirectly, Arjuna is saying to Krishna that you are telling me to kill all these people, but will you kill Ugrasena? Will you kill Sandip Muni? You will not do this. So why you want me to kill? You only, if you want, you can kill yourself. So in this way, Arjuna is trying to understand and wants to not fight. So further, he says that these are people who should be worshipped. Gurun hi hatva hi mahanubhavan Shreyo bhoktum bhaiksham api haloke Hatvarta kamam sukurun hi haiva Bhunjiya bhoganudira pradigdhan. So he's saying Guru, the superiors, ahatva, not killing, is certainly Maha Anubhavan, great souls, share it is better, bhoktum, to enjoy life, bhaiksham by begging, api, even, iha in this life, loke in this world, hatva killing, arthi gain, kama desiring, to but guru and superiors, iha in this world, eva certainly, bhunjiya, one has to enjoy, bhogan, enjoyable things, rudira, blood, pratigna, indeed. So, translation, it will be better to live in this world by begging than to live at the cost of the lives of great souls who are my teachers, even though they want to designing worldly gain, they are superiors. If they are killed, everything we enjoy will be tainted with blood. So see the magnitude of Arjuna. He does not want anything, and if they are killed, there they are okay. And second, here, if you see, Arjuna is ready to beg also. So this is a very high quality of Arjuna. To beg for something is not a very good task for a false ego. So therefore, we can see how humble Arjuna is here. Purport: according to the spiritual codes, a teacher who engages in the abominable action and has lost his sense of discrimination is fit to be abandoned. Bhishma and Drona were obliged to take the side of Duryodhana because of his financial assistance, although they should not have accepted such a position simply on financial considerations. Under the circumstances, they have lost the respectability of teachers, but Arjuna thinks that nevertheless, they remain his superiors and therefore to enjoy material profits after killing them would mean to enjoy spoils tainted with blood. So further, we see that Bhishma and Drona actually they had all the intentions, they know the Shastras very well, but still they took the side of Duryodhana, which was not good. But why did they took the side? Because of financial assistance. They were being maintained by Dhritarashtra and Duryodhana, and therefore they were obliged to take the side of Duryodhana. And here Prabhupada is saying they should have not done so because of financial condition only, because they could have been maintained by others also if they have left there. And therefore, because of this wrongdoing, because of Dronacharya and Bhishma Pitama, they have lost any respect as teachers. But Arjuna doesn't consider anything bad on the other side, and he says that even if they are on the wrong side, still they are superiors and should be worshipped. And therefore, there is no point in killing them and to enjoy all the things tainted with blood. So, this is a general principle we should also follow. We should respect our seniors, our teachers. And if sometimes they do something wrong, we should ignore them. Or ignore the wrongdoing. So now, sixth verse. न चैतद् विद्मा कतरं नागरीयो यद्वा जयेमा यदि वा न जयेयु यानेव हत्वा न जिजीविषामस्ते अवस्थिता प्रमुखे धातराष्ट्र. Na, not, cha, also, etat, this, vidma, do we know, katarat, which, na, for us, gariya, better, yat, va, whether, jayema, we may conquer, yadi, if, va, or, na, us, jayayu, they conquer, yan, those who, eva, certainly, hatva, by killing, na, never, jiji, vishama, we would want to live, they, all of them, avastita, are situated, pramukhe, in the front, dhatrashtra, the sons of the Dhritarashtra. Translation, nor do we know which is better, conquering them or being conquered by them. If we are killed, if we kill the sons of the Dhritarashtra, we should not care to live. yet they are now standing before us on the battlefield. So now, in this verse, Arjuna has been indecisive, and this is the last uh, reason why Arjuna doesn't want to fight, which we have seen before also. That here, if we see, he is now in a confusion. What is better, this or this? So sometimes we are given with options, two options. Either you lose 200 rupees or you may lose 150 rupees. Which one you have to select? So it's not an easy decision because both the side there are losses. And therefore, whatever we do, we have to incur a loss. And between the two losses, we have to see which is the least loss and take the decision. So here also, Arjuna is being very much confused that what is better, should I kill them or should they kill us? And therefore, he's very confused. And now in the next verse, we'll place this confusion in front of Krishna. So see, devotees may also be confused sometimes, but the best part is whatever confusion they have, they will place before an authority so that solution can be, they can get a solution. So this is important. So being in confusion is not a difficult thing, but when in confusion, are we taking guidance or not? That is the important thing. Purport: Arjuna did not know whether he should fight and risk unnecessary violence, although fighting is the duty of Kshatriyas, or whether he should refrain and live by begging. So fighting is the duty of Kshatriyas, but Kshatriyas should not fight whimsically. There should be a cause, there should be some dharma behind this. And therefore, Arjuna also did not want to fight unnecessarily and risk unnecessary violence. And therefore, he would refrain, and then he would refrain and live by begging. If he did not conquer the enemy, begging would be his only means of subsistence. Nor was there certainty of victory because either side may emerge victorious. So here, if we see that if Arjuna would not have won, then he would have to beg. And there is no certainty of victory in this case because both sides can be victorious. Even if victory awaited them and their cause was justified, still if the sons of Dhritarashtra died in battle, it would be very difficult to live in their absence. So even if suppose they become victorious and the sons of Dhritarashtra, that is Duryodhana, all party die, still they are saying that it's very difficult because how to live with their absence. Under circumstances, that would be another kind of defeat for them. All this considered by Arjuna definitely proved that not only was he a great devotee of the Lord, but he was also highly enlightened, had complete control over his mind and senses. This is very important. So when people lose control over the mind and senses and they have position, they can create havoc. So we know so many examples in history who had powers, but they had no control over their mind and they killed so many people. And we give the famous example of Hitler, who somehow lost his mind and senses and therefore he killed so many people. So therefore, one who has power has great responsibility also. And therefore, he should be calm and should take decisions likewise. His desire to live by begging, although he was born in the royal household, is another sign of detachment. He was truly virtuous, and all this as these qualities combined with his faith in the words of instruction from Sri Krishna, his spiritual master indicate it is concluded that Arjuna was quite fit for liberation. Unless the senses are controlled, there is no chance of elevation to the platform of knowledge. And without knowledge and devotion, there is no chance of liberation. So, in a Nectar of Instruction, we see the first verse where Rupa Goswami instructs us to control our senses, and then only we can become Goswami. And this is the only way where we can also elevate to the platform of knowledge and become liberated also. And therefore, we should try to control the senses as far as possible in a legal way. Like eating can be controlled by taking prasadam. So in this way, our tongue can be controlled. Our speaking can be controlled if we speak only about Krishna conscious subjects. And like our eyes can be controlled when we see the deities, devotees, and we use that things. And like with our legs, this can be used for going to different places of worship. And whatever things we do, ultimately our goal should be to become devotee of Lord. And that is how we can control all the senses. And after only elevation is can be done. Otherwise, if there is no control senses, it's very difficult to be elevated. So we will see this last verse for the today. How Arjuna surrenders to Krishna. Karpanya doshopahata swabhava picchami tvam dharma samudha cheta yat shreyasya nishchitam bruhi tanme sishyasthaham sadimam tvam prapannam. Karpanya of miserliness, dosha by the weakness, upahata being afflicted, swabhava characteristics, prichami I am asking, tvam unto you, dharma religion, samudha bewildered, cheta in heart, yat what, shreya all good, syat may be, nishchitam confidently, bruhi tell, tat that, me unto me, sishya disciple, te your, aham I am, sadi just instruct, mam me, tvam unto you, prapannam surrendered. Transition. Now I am confused about my duty and have lost all composure because of miserly weakness. In this condition, I am asking you to tell me for certain what is best for me. Now I am your disciple and a soul sent unto you. Please instruct me. So, because Arjuna is confused, he has taken shelter of Krishna. Like this, we should also have elder devotees. Whenever we are in difficulty, we can take shelter of. And one person is very fortunate if he has somebody to take shelter of. And second, if we see here, Arjuna is changing the relationship and becoming the disciple of Krishna. So unless somebody doesn't surrender or ask us for any help in their life, we should not instruct that person, because the person will not be able to grasp the instruction, and second, he will not be able to follow. And because he will not be able to grasp or follow the instruction given to the person will become a failure. And therefore, one should only guide to those persons who comes on their own accord to ask for the guidance. In general, we do not guide to each and every person, and nor we do have time to do so. But generally, sometimes we see devotees of the compassion for the living entities may guide without asking. But that's not the general principle. This can be done by Mahabhagavatas or very advanced devotees, which are very rare, and we are very grateful to have such devotees around us also. So, purport, by nature's own way, the complete system of material activities is a source of perplexity for everyone. So nature's own way, if we see the nature, how it is made, the complete system of material activities, how it is done, the way the plants grow, the trees grow, there are seasons changing, the different moods, the modes of nature, the people behave, this all is source of perplexity. We cannot understand how it's all going on. In every step, there's a perplexity, and therefore it behooves one to approach a bona fide spiritual master who can give one proper guidance for executing the purpose of life. And in every step we see there is lot of perplexity, there is lot of difficulty, and if one is not guided, like today's world, so many people take guidance from social media. And the problem with social media is nobody knows you personally, and we all need a tailor-made guidance. We cannot use the same medicines for each and each disease. So therefore, we need a doctor to diagnose us and give us the proper medicine. Likewise, in spiritual matters also, we cannot use same thing which others are using. We need guidance also. So general things we can do, but if we want to advance specifically, then we need guidance, and therefore, it requires a bona fide spiritual master who can give us proper guidance. All Vedic literature advises us to approach a bona fide spiritual master to get free from the perspectives of life which happen without our desire. So second thing is whom to ask. He should be bona fide. spiritual master. We cannot ask to any Tom, Dick, and Harry for solving our spiritual problems. So that person also should have that stature. He should be practicing devotee, and he should also understand things. Otherwise, it will be a bigger problem. Because most of times we also don't know why we are facing such problems. Like nobody prays that 2-3 months have gone by, have not got fever, there is no fracture, there is no illness, but still one has that illness. Like this, nobody prays that I want to become perplexed or something, but still the things and ways are such that we are becoming perplexed. And therefore, it requires guidance from authorities, spiritual masters of how to go about it. There are like a forest fire like somehow blazes without being set by anyone. So we have seen in forest there is fire which is not set by anyone, but it goes on. And nobody can even make sure that they can doze off this fire. Only the rain can extinguish this fire. We may not be able to do so. So therefore, the rain cloud of Krishna or his pure devotees can only extinguish the fire in our heart. Similarly, the world situation is such that the perplexities of life automatically appear without our wanting such confusion. No one wants fire, yet it takes place, and we become perplexed. So no one in this world needs fire, but it takes place. The Vedic wisdom therefore advises that in order to solve the perplexities of life and to understand the science of the solution, one must approach a spiritual master who is in disciplic succession. A person with a bona fide spiritual master is supposed to know everything. One should not therefore remain in material perplexities, but should approach a spiritual master. That is the purport of this verse. So, we should approach a spiritual master, and the bona fide spiritual master should be disciplic succession. That means there should be a parampara and there should be a living guru. This you should note, and it should be bona fide. And basically, if we want liberation from birth and death, it should be a devotee of Krishna or any of the incarnation of Krishna. We should note. If somebody wants other things, then they may have some other people. But the basic purpose of Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam is to get out of this material world, that is birth, death, old age, and disease, and therefore it's advisable to take approach or to get initiated from bona fide spiritual master only. Who is the man in the material personalities? It is he who does not understand the problems of life. In the Brihad Aranyaka Upanishad 3.8.10, the perplexed man is described as follows: Yoga itat aksharam gargi avidit vasmal lokat praditi sakripana. He is a miserly man who does not solve the problems of life as a human, and who thus quits the world like the cats and dogs without understanding the science of self-realization. So such person is called miserly, who is not able to solve the problems of life as human form. And what is the problem of life is birth, old age, disease, and death. These are the problems of human form of life. We should be met out, and we should be self-realized. Otherwise, what is the difference between us and cats and dogs? They also eat, sleep, produce children, and defend and all. We are just doing it in sophisticated way. They may live on streets, we are living in bungalows. Otherwise, we see the activities, they are same. So what differentiates us from them is dharma, or we have intelligence whereby we can get out of this material world, but they don't have. And therefore, we should utilize this life in understanding this science and for self-realization. This human form of life is most valuable asset for the living entity who can utilize it for solving the problems of life. Therefore, one who does not utilize this opportunity properly is a miser. So this human form of life is very rare to obtain. See, we may see so many people, but one gets human form of life after going through 84 life of species. So it's very rare. And after getting human form of life, also to get a perfect body is very rare. Some may be blind, deaf, and mentally, and there are so many problems. And then that also to get spiritual understanding, to get association of devotees is very, very rare. And therefore, if one gets that, he should never lose it. And if one doesn't have, he should search for it. Otherwise, he is a kripana or miserly person. His life will go waste. And we should not worry if one desires to have spiritual association. If he just desires, Krishna will arrange everything for that person. So we should have just desire that I want to practice spiritual life in the way where I can go back to God. On the other hand, there is a Brahmana or who he was intelligent enough to utilize this body to solve the problems of all the problems of life. Ya etat aksharam gargi vidit vasmal loke praiti is a Brahmana. So one person is called Brahmana who wants to solve the problems of life. The Kripanas or miserly persons waste their time in being overly affectionate for family, society, country, etc. in the material conception of life. So we should be affectionate. Doesn't mean we should not be affectionate family, society, country, but not overly affectionate. That means we have to take care of the body, but at the same time, we have to also take care of the soul. So this is a material conception we should avoid. One is often attached to family life, namely to wife, children, and other members on the basis of skin disease. So we are attached, but based on the skin, so this is called as disease. We should be attached on the basis of soul. The Kripana thinks that he is able to protect his family members from death, or the Kripana thinks that his family or society can save him from the verge of death. So Kripana means a person, miser person may think that no, my family members will save me at the time of death, or the society may be save me, or that I will save them from death. So this is a wrong thinking, and therefore it's called miserly. Such family attachment can be found even in the lower animals who take care of children also. Being intelligent, Arjuna could understand that his affection for his family members and his wish to protect them from death were the causes of his perplexities. So, such affection are seen. We see cows attracted to the calf, dolls attracted to these children. Sometimes we see it for they also fight with others for saving their children. All they also show some intelligence in this way. So we should not be like them, and we should not be attached, and we should try to protect them by giving the spiritual relation so that they may never take birth again, and they may overall be out of the cycle of birth and death. Although he could understand that his duty to fight was awaiting him, still on the account of miserly weakness, he could not discharge the duties. He is therefore asking Lord Krishna, the Supreme Spiritual Master, to make a definite solution. He offers himself to Krishna as a disciple. He wants to stop friendly talks. So when we also want to learn something, we need to bow down, we need to submit to the authority, and then only we can learn. Only friendly way, it's not possible to learn because the other person will not reveal. Talks between the master and disciple are serious, and now Arjuna wants to talk very seriously before the recognized spiritual master. So these are not general talks because these talks are serious because they can lead us back to Godhead, lead us to liberation from the birth, old age, disease, and death. And therefore, these are very serious. They should be heard very seriously, implemented in life, and should be taken benefit of. Since now Arjuna wants to take very seriously before the recognized spiritual master. Krishna is therefore the original spiritual master of the science of Bhagavad Gita, and Arjuna is the first disciple for understanding the Gita. How Arjuna understands the Bhagavad Gita is stated in the Gita itself, and yes, the mundane, foolish scholars explain that one need not submit to Krishna as a person, but to the unborn within Krishna. There is no difference between Krishna within and without, and one who has no sense of this understanding is the greatest fool in trying to understand Bhagavad Gita. So Prabhupada is explaining here that some people say that it's not Krishna speaking, somebody within Krishna is speaking. So for us, material body and soul are different. For Krishna, everything is same because he is Sachidanand. So there is no difference between his body and soul. Therefore, it is Krishna speaking and not other person. And therefore, we should not be a fool in trying to understand this Bhagavad Gita. And therefore, this is the way how we can understand Gita. So I think I will pause for the day and we will do from 8th verse in the next class. Thank you very much.